evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Sharon Bown, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Kylie Hassey. We are honoured to acknowledge Adjunct Professor Kylie Ward and Dr. Carolyn Stapleton from the Australian College of Nurses. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors and by students on behalf of the following schools. From New South Wales, Hamilton Public School. From Queensland, Collingwood Park State School. From Victoria, Miners Rest Primary School. And from Western Australia, Geraldton Senior College. Please stand and join me in singing the Australian anthem. Boys and girls, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that would help all Australians to understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Sister Blodwyn Elizabeth Williams. Born in Ballarat in Victoria, Blodwyn Williams was the daughter of Elizabeth and Theophilus Williams. Her father was a well-respected member of the community who had come to Australia from England during the gold rush and had served 3 times as the mayor of Ballarat. Known in her family by the nickname Billy, Blodwyn trained as a nurse at the Ballarat District Hospital and for a time held the position of sister in charge. She was still working there when the First World War began. Williams enlisted in the AIF's Australian Army Nursing Service in June 1915 at the age of 33. More than 3,000 Australian civilian nurses volunteered for active service during the First World War. They were posted to Britain, France, Belgium, the Mediterranean, India, and the Middle East, where they worked in hospitals, on hospital ships, and in trains, or in the casualty clearing stations closer to the front line. Williams left for overseas service just weeks after enlisting. She was posted to the No. 2 Australian General Hospital, located in the Gezira Palace in Cairo, nursing Australians and New Zealanders who'd been wounded while fighting on Gallipoli. Williams was not in Cairo for long. In September, she was assigned nursing duty on board a hospital ship to England. Once there, she became attached to the 3rd London General Hospital, where she served until November 1916. Following that, she was transferred to another military hospital in England, where she nursed until January 1918. Williams was then sent to France to continue her duties. She was promoted from staff nurse to sister in early October 1918, a month before the war ended. However, her service continued well beyond the armistice. She returned to England to care for sick and wounded men in December and worked solidly until April 1919, where she was given some leave. The rigours of nursing throughout the war took their toll on Williams. In August 1919, she was admitted to hospital and had an operation for abdominal growth. While her condition improved enough for her to return to Australia the following month, her condition worsened. On the 24th of May, 1920, she died at Caulfield Military Hospital of a carcinoma in her right lung and heart failure. The Ballarat Star reported on Sister Williams' funeral, which was well attended by family, friends, and returned soldiers. Her casket was draped in the Union Jack and the last post was played. The report read, Sister Williams had served her country, king, and empire for nearly 5 years, during which she made many friends by her untiring efforts and her devotion of duty to our soldiers' boys under the most trying circumstances and unpleasant conditions. Her name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. She can be seen in the photograph displayed today besides the pool of reflection. You will see her standing a foot of the stairs. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Sister Blodwyn Williams, who gave her life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you all for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.